Hello there. This is John and Malachi's podcast for this history class, and this is a good day. I'm going to have Malachi try to explain a Supreme Court case to me, more specifically the FEC versus Citizens United, which was a pretty important case, a very recent case in the country's history concerning our elections. Malachi here is a student athlete at St. Mary's High School, plays football. He's a senior this year, and today is a good day for him and his family because he got his first college scholarship offer today to play football in college. So it's a good day. I'm happy to help him with this assignment. I'm myself majored in history and political science in college. Malachi is still undecided about what he wants to study, but we're going to begin and see exactly what Malachi can fill me in on as far as Citizens United. Malachi, you got anything to say?
I'm Malachi, student, St. Mary's. I'm all around great guy, overall.
All right, so for this class, you decided to pick the Supreme Court case, Citizens United versus the FEC. I know basics about it, so tell me what you know. I guess the first question I had for you is, what is BICRA and what is the Bipartisan Commission Reform Act, or Bipartisan Campaign Reform Act? Thanks for correcting me there. Like, what year was it, and like, what does it basically say?
BICRA stands for Bipartisan Campaign Reform Act, and basically it was made in, or not made, but it happened around 2004, and it basically was saying that like nobody can make like something like a influential, I don't want to say post or like publish something like influential about like about a politician or a party within 30 or 60 days of a vote of a general primary election, so they can't do anything to like sway voters within the 30 or 60 days.
So it was like essentially a way to prevent candidates from being like blindsided?
Yeah, basically. Like they don't want like some like scandal or something to come out like right before, and then everybody's gonna be shocked and then change the vote, and then that could like affect them.
Like a hit piece or something on someone that could literally just derail their campaign right before the voting actually takes place?
Yeah.
Okay, so with BICRA, if that is the law, like why is FEC versus Citizens United so important?
Well, BICRA is involved with FEC versus Citizens United because Citizens United is they're a PAC, and they made a movie or a documentary about a politician, and that the FEC says that it violated BICRA laws.
Okay, what exactly did the FEC do, or not the FEC, but Citizens United? What did they do that violated BICRA?
The Citizens United, they planned on releasing a documentary that was made to like sway voters against the politician Hillary Clinton. I think it was called Hillary the Movie, I believe. They planned to release it, I think, within the 60 or 30 days before the primary election, and they said that it wasn't allowed, so they took it to court, basically.
Why exactly did Citizens United decide to go after Hillary Clinton? Because at this time she was in primary season with Barack Obama. Wouldn't it have been easier just to attack Barack Obama?
Well, I guess you could say it would have been easier to take him out because he was a less popular candidate, but I guess it would be smarter to attempt to take out Hillary Clinton because she was the, I guess, bigger threat or more popular candidate at the time. So they wanted to like it wouldn't really do them no good to waste their money or time trying to take out the little guy, or who they thought was a little guy at the time, and they still had to deal with Hillary Clinton, so they wanted to take out Hillary Clinton. So all they had to deal with was Barack Obama, who they thought was a weaker or like less popular candidate, and thought it'd be easier for them to win the vote or election
Yeah.
against him.
They were wrong about that because he was like really popular in 2008, you know,
Yeah.
after he won the primary. But
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying because Hillary Clinton was like a very powerful candidate, like her husband was the president.
Yeah.
Why do you think why do you think she was so powerful? Do you think it was at the time because she was a woman, or do you think it was because of her husband, or what do you think?
I think honestly it probably was like a little bit of both, because obviously she was married to Bill Clinton and he was pretty popular, and like the economy was pretty good while he was president. Like I feel like he was pretty popular, pretty well liked during his term, and so people who I don't want to say had a good time or like enjoyed his term, they probably would seek to vote for Hillary because they'd see a similar like time in the country, that she'd have like similar success to him, like in economy wise. And
So because you feel like because she was a woman, because she was the wife of a popular president, that Americans would have just voted for her just for like the sense of like, oh, we've already been here, she's gonna be good for us.
yeah, and yeah, basically like she probably have similar like policies or ideas wise like of her husband, like, and also I feel like her being a woman, like obviously like I feel like that'd get her more votes with women in general, because like they want to see something like we've never seen that before in the country.
Yeah.
And we still have it now, but it's more popular now that she started. Like we have like Kamala Harris as vice VP, and yeah, people just want to see it, maybe test that out, like how that'd be with women.
With a woman running the show finally,
Yeah.
instead of always being a man.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're like you know, this happened in 2008,
Yeah.
and you weren't even born until George
2000.
W. Bush's last term
Yeah.
as president. But at the time, the country had been attacked. Okay, so the country had been attacked in 2001, September 11th, and the country was at war in both Afghanistan and Iraq. And so he was like largely a very unpopular president. And I think there was this,
George Bush.
George W. Bush. And so at the time, when his second term was up, people were looking like, okay, we don't want the country in this war anymore. You know, we had these two candidates, Hillary Clinton, whose husband was a peacetime president,
Yeah.
and Barack Obama, who insisted that he would pull the country out of Afghanistan and Iraq, which he did sort of. But I guess, you know, the country was ready for a new president, and I feel like it was going to be a really hard hill to climb for Republicans,
Yeah.
especially when the guy that was running against Hillary Clinton or Barack Obama was John McCain,
Yeah.
who was essentially just like George W. Bush. You know, he was an establishment politician, Republican. Most of his political campaigns probably came from big oil and like the war industry, and so that was probably a good thing that Citizens United happened. Do you think it was a good thing for the country as far as our elections?
Citizens United like winning.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think so. Like, I think that, like, the FEC, since they're a federal election committee, and like their whole job is like to try and make everything fair. Like ever since that case, and they Citizens United won, and it's been private funding and stuff like that for elections and parties. I think it hasn't really been necessarily fair, because like anybody could donate as much as they want, like to a certain party, and they'd have more funding for like their campaign, and like if a party is like more geared or like they want to represent toward like lower class people or like people who don't have as much money, then their supporters aren't gonna have as much money as
Yeah,
as a
makes sense.
party who has like who is geared towards the rich and I guess keep the rich richer and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So they're always gonna have more money, so they're gonna have better campaign, better like ads and all of everything. So I don't know. I feel like because when the Citizens United won, they made it private funding, so anybody could do it as much. So I think if it was publicly funded, I know that'd be like more tax dollars and stuff, but it'd be like set amount, so like it'd be equal. So it's not they won because they did better like ads, they had more money to do this and do that. They won because their ideas were better or their
Yeah.
policies were better. Like people liked the candidate more.
So you think that if our election system had like a sort of a salary cap, like in public funded elections, like how there's a salary cap in football and in baseball,
Yeah.
you think it would be more fair?
Yeah, I think
overall?
it'd be fair because like that in football. Like if I can use as much money, if I'm in a rich city like LA or something like Las Vegas or something, and that city brings in a lot of money, I could get Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill. I could get all the best players, and I'll just give them the most money, and they'll come to my team, and then nobody's gonna be able to beat
Because
them.
there's no cap.
Yeah, like the 49ers. Like
Okay. So if it was up to you, you think public funding is the way to go?
but yeah, to me, I would say so because it's equal. Everything's equal. They get the same amount of money, and then it's at the end of the day, it's who's a better candidate and whose policies, whose ideas are better.
Okay, so you might have been really young when this happened, but in 2016, when Donald Trump was running against Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders and even Barack Obama came out and basically they were against Citizens United, right?
Yeah.
Because for them, they felt like it gave too much power to Republicans because Republicans were getting money from the war industry, they were getting money from big oil companies. But now, when you look at our at our elections nowadays, like this past election, right?
Yeah.
Barack Obama, or not Barack Obama, Donald Trump raised like $600 million,
Yeah.
all usually from like small donors, people just giving $20 here, $50 here. But Kamala Harris raised almost like $1.5 billion.
Yeah.
And now you're seeing that Democrats now are actually not even saying anything about Citizens United because they're benefiting from it,
Yeah.
you know, because all these tech companies can donate all this money to Democrats, all these actors in Hollywood, all these musicians. Why do you think that they're like that? Is like that? Why do you think they're not bashing Citizens United anymore? Is it because it's favoring them?
Yeah, I think at first because I think Citizens United was like a more like Republican group.
It is a Republican PAC, right?
Yeah, Republican PAC.
Yeah.
And PAC is just like a political action committee. So basically, they're one who started, and they're a Republican. And I think that's why at first Democrats were against it because it was coming from a Republican. Like that Republican PAC is the one who started it. But nowadays it's benefiting the Democrats more. So I think that's why they've kind of quieted down. Like their campaigns and their candidates are getting more money from the private funding, and they're like benefiting more from it than Republicans are nowadays. Like I'm pretty sure Kamala Harris like had over double
Yeah.
what Trump had in
Yeah,
funding.
triple actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
When you think about it. Do you think that ultimately like Citizens United undermines our democracy? You said that you think it does, but does it make it to where because if corporations are considered people now, does that undermine our democracy because they just have so much more money?
What do you mean undermine democracy?
Like it's good for like our country, our elections are good for them, but it's not good for us.
Oh, like good for like
The corporations
But
and
not
like the
for people.
Yeah, not good for regular people.
yeah, because I'd say with the private funding, it like a corporation like they're seen as a person or like them donating is seen as like free speech, and that's why it's legal. Be like them, like basically them giving money, is like them stepping. Like I support this, so I'm gonna give them money. Like that's their speech is the money. So basically, they're seen as people, but it's not a person. Like you're a whole business, and you have all this money, and like another person. If it's a person, it should be equal to another person. Like, but he's gonna have so much more money to donate to this group than this person. But like, they should be equal.
Like his voice, that
Like his
corporation's voice is just stronger.
Yeah, it's just gonna like his voice is just gonna like
Drown
out everybody else, and
Yeah.
like other people, like just seemingly people are never gonna like their voice not gonna be heard. So that's also why I think it should be publicly funded by tax dollars, so it'd be equal and everybody's voice will be heard, because it'll just be based on opinions and how you see everything.
Okay, so in our last election in November, right?
Yeah.
Kamala Harris raised 3 times as much money as Donald Trump, but she still lost. Why do you think that happened?
I say that she raised 3 times, but I think a big factor in that is that Donald Trump was already the president beforehand, so he didn't really have to get his name out there or get his message, get his policy. Everybody knows what the type of guy he is, how he was gonna, like what he's gonna do, like the type of guy he is,
Like his policies?
yeah, like it's already well known, and he is like probably one of the most famous people at least in America.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So basically, you're saying that because he has been president, some of his policies seem to have worked. That he didn't need to raise as much money as her. Like
Yeah,
people
because I feel
trusted
like
him.
they need to raise as much money because I don't know, maybe they're not as known, or well, obviously she's more known, but like I don't know. I think just as the president, he has more, and also that he ran the year before, so he's ran 3 years in a row. Like
Yeah.
people know what he's here for, know his message, know what his policies are. So I don't think he needs to spend all the money to get his message out when people already know.
Okay. So basically, you're saying that like Citizens United is a huge deal, but you can kind of overcome it if your policies are on point and the people trust you and your message is good. Even if the other candidate raises way more money than you, if everything you're telling, if you can convince the people that you're the better candidate, that you can still win, even if the odds are way against you.
I guess kind of, but if you look back at the previous election, like the gap wasn't as big in funding back then. So like
Yeah.
it was like more even. I think he even had more funding one year.
Yeah, you did.
He had more funding one year, so I think after 3 years running, I think it's kind of more of an exception that like
he
he's
won.
already put in so much money the previous 8 years before this election that like people already know. So he doesn't have to go brand new. It's not like he's a new person. He's the same guy he was.
Yeah.
So it's like already put out there, so he doesn't have to spend as much money because he spent that much money back then because he was trying to get his name out there. But now he's already known.
Yeah.
So I think it's more of an exception. I don't know if it exactly you can do it, or at least like do it easily just by your ideas. I think that because he was president and has run for the past 8 years, that's why it was an exception this year, that with such low funding compared to Kamala, he still won.
Okay, well, say that again.
They also didn't want any more of Joe Biden.
I guess the other thing too was that people were just kind of sick of like a president that just wasn't there. You know, Joe Biden he almost never did interviews on TV, and the economy was bad. There's a lot of people that don't agree with the war in Ukraine, and I don't know if you remember this, but for October, was it 27th or something of last year, or maybe 2 years ago, was when those people like parachuted into Israel and like just started shooting all those people.
Yeah.
And so now you have people on Joe Biden's camp, like Democrats, who are anti-Israel, like they're turning away from voting for him too, you know. But yeah, thanks Malachi. I feel like I learned a lot. for me understanding this.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed.
Malachi
For
John
sure.
Pagas.
Yeah. Thank
Make
you
sure
guys.
to tune in next week.